Alrighty. Hello.
Hey, you okay?
I'm good. Yeah. I would say it's been a ride the last week or so.
It's been different, definitely been different. Like multifaceted would probably be the best word I could come up with on the top of my head. It's been multi-layered.
Very multi-layered. Like I don't think I have a word for it, which is like I've just been going with the ride.
100%. What was I saying? The vibes, the vibes, the vibes, the vibes. What are the vibes? Who knows? What are the vibes? It's a very flowing week, like up, down, left, right. Who knows where we're going? We're just kind of going with the wind, trying to take back some semblance of grounding and peace, clarity. I definitely think there's more of a spark of creation being lit, though. We've mentioned on the previous video about the spirits returning, energy being more amplified, which also comes with like a big drainage as well, which I don't think people talk about enough. When there is more spiritual presence, that does come with more energy drain.
Sure. Explain that a little bit more.
Explain it. I guess the way I've perceived it is like obviously I used to be a medium. Excuse me for the background noise. A child has found me, is sneaking off in the office. Yeah, I used to be a medium and a psychic doing tarot card readings every single day in, day out, and I guess I just got used to doing like 8, 9, 10 readings a day sometimes, and finding my own ways of grounding, releasing, healing, and kind of moving through that. But then it shifted into doing more internal work. And I learned to hold space for people in a different way. And I kind of joked and say my sessions became more like spiritual therapy. It's like I guide them through with the higher selves and the team to get a bit of a journey that feels more reflective to them rather than me just telling them the information. And I feel like that's what changed. And from that shift, I definitely noticed that it's like I view us as kind of like walkie talkies or, different human vessels, and we have different energy drains, I guess. So it's like if you're working as a medium and a channeler, for me, it's like your walkie-talkie has to be tuned really high to be able to work on that level and receive the frequency and kind of stay in that zone to do that session. And at a certain time, I was used to doing that all the time, and you just get used to doing it. Because I stepped back from doing that and started to do other things that also consume my energy just in different ways, and then now I've added that back on. So it's not like I've stopped doing the spiritual therapy, if you will. That's kind of the nickname it's become. They are what my sessions are now. But now we're doing the energy clearing. I'm getting a lot more messages. I'm channeling. There's like these big urges to create art, create music, create different forms of creations. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think sometimes it's the frequency that we're attuned at. And when I'm running at that frequency all the time, whilst doing the human stuff, whilst doing this extra kind of holding space for things and emotions and people and spiritual therapy kind of stuff, and also for myself, like I do way more reflection and shadow work than I used to do as a channeler and a reader because I went through that period. So I guess yeah, I noticed my energy being a little bit more drained and a little bit more tired or exhausted, fatigued over the past couple of weeks. And I do think that's because there's been an amplification of energy, which has then led to me taking on more energy, transmuting energy, clearing energy, working with spirits, working with all different types of dimensional beings a little bit more than I was consciously. And also doing the other things, which I think my body's just figuring out what do we do with this? Where do we go with it? How much are we taking on? Like getting back into I've really been called to do wild swimming again. And I think again, it's my way of releasing and getting rid of that energy when it builds up. So yeah, I just guess maybe it's my terminology. It's not a bad thing. The energy drain, I've noticed it. It's like my battery charge is running lower than usual. I'm having to rest and recharge and do a lot more of them kind of recuperating my energy things than I'm used to doing at this moment in time in my lifestyle. So yeah, I've just noticed that shift and being a lot more tired and sleeping a lot more, needing to sleep a lot more. And it's hard when you got babies. So I've just noticed that energy drain. And then a few people have picked up on it as well. So I just have to check, like, is this a me thing or is this a collective thing going on?
Sure, sure. A bit of both.
Yeah.
I would say that what you're saying for me has been like I guess I did the mediumship thing too. It was a long time ago though.
Mhm.
I've shifted my direction a lot since then. All those versions of myself, but it is the multidimensionality. So all of the multidimensional beings, being in connection, the full channel flow, the mediumship, all of that is back in. But it's for me, it's very embodied. So my body is, um, it's it's holding ground in all of those things very intensely. Also taking a lot of action steps to do what it needs to do that. And now it's gonna be heading into a rest period because I just moved and did all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need to play a little bit of catch up uh, to the integration phase that's going on because there has been a lot of pickup in all kinds of energies. I want to say the last little while.
Yeah, and I think it is adjusting to them different energies again, whilst also doing the work that we've started doing in the past 2 years as well, and kind of translating what does that look like and how do we want to be seen, and I guess how does that look for you? You mentioned before we got on that you was stepping into a deeper layer of being seen this weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I went to a beautiful I want to say gathering this last weekend. It was with Honey and some of those peeps coming out just to be present. And I think your speaker's off. Oh, yeah, it is. I'm like, wait a second, I don't hear anything. Um, and in realization that we had talked a little bit earlier too before we got on about the ascension process catching up. Okay. And by that meaning, it was such a beautiful space to connect with people who were very authentic, very real, not overly spiritualized. Oh my goodness. Um, to be able to be seen in that way was a whole different level that I've experienced with people before.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need that authenticity. Like we are, I guess, slightly different to. I'm not even separating it. Just some of the mainstream spirituality things, that you see. Like I went to a really nice event on Sunday in York, and it was all about spirituality. It was like a spiritual fair. There was talks on, and it was really beautiful to be around people that were more open and were more connected. And I guess it just gave me a similar reflection of, yeah, actually, maybe it is becoming more of a time to be seen. Maybe it is now finally that safe zone to actually show the world who we are, what we're here to do, and not hold any fear of judgment, embarrassment, shame, criticism, persecution, like really sitting in that, what does that look like? How does that feel in my body? If I were to take that action, what would that be? What would them steps be? And that's really what I've been kind of sitting in these past couple of weeks, and especially was kind of boosted on Sunday, just looking around and thinking sometimes. I'm trying to say this without the ego perspective because it's really not intended that way. It just feels like sometimes when I've done something and I've moved past it, for me, I kind of feel like, oh, well, everybody knows this, that everybody knows about channeling and past lives and mediumship and what happens after we die and lost souls and, the parallel worlds in between. And I guess I don't sit and think just because I've done it a little while ago that that's not new to people. And so for me, if it's done, it's done. I'm like, oh, well, I'm over here now.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I guess what that creates is a bit of a gap in between people that maybe are on that level of conscious understanding. And so to bridge that gap, I guess one of the ways I'm being called to be seen right now is to create more offerings and more opportunities for people to learn the knowledge that maybe for me does feel a little bit like, oh, well, I did that a while ago. But actually, that's still very relevant for people and it's very needed for people. And I guess that little bit of reminder came in for me. So maybe this will resonate with any of you guys that either have done a lot of work and progressed very far and are feeling a little bit stuck. Like maybe look back to see what you've done and how you would have wanted to receive that in the way when you was figuring it out, because that really helped me like write my little ebook that I made about going into enlightenment, my affirmation cards, any of my courses, the retreats. It's like I always think, how would I have want this information delivered to me when I was going through this, because it felt like there wasn't much information available. And so kind of ask yourself that question if you're figuring out how you can be translated into the world. There's enough seats at the table for everyone involved. There is no such thing as too many people doing the same thing. We're all doing it in a different way. Me and Z do very similar work. Me and Honey, all of us do very similar work, but in his own little streak of magic. And I met some beautiful people this weekend that had written books that would made fantastic candles, handmade candles, and people that were working as death jewelers, people that were working in the quantum realms, people that were working with crystals and, tarot cards and all different levels of frequencies. And I realized when I was looking around that actually this is what we need. We need a kind of catalogue of
All right.
frequencies so that people, yeah, so that people can meet us where they're at and
Absolutely.
us not expecting people to either meet us there or not have anything in between. So I hope I translated that right, because that was kind of one of my revelations this weekend, that I need to figure out a way to translate my previous experiences into offerings that people might find useful and not expect everyone to be in this current version of energy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I got too. I was like, oh, right. Because at least for me, in my experience, like it's been so outside the box ever since I was little. I'm like, oh, look, that's not there yet. It just wasn't to a point where the translation really could be there. And with all the things that we're going through, the traumas, all the other aspects, now it's coming to the point where it's like, okay, I can translate this now into something that would be um, perceived or seen as something that someone might want to have a bridge for, right? Jump into that and have offerings that allow for that to come in, allow for anybody to come in who's ready and willing to step into something like that. And for both of us, right? This is like, I feel like this is just like a really big bridge point for us now to like enter into that being seen phase and have that be fully like accepted because it really wasn't for a good period of time, right?
Right. And, there's the fear of judgment, the fear of what is other people going to think. And I think for me, a big part of it was like, well, I never fit in at school and I never fit in my local area and friend group. So,
Right.
I tried really hard or when I was a teenager to fit in, to blend in, to be like not seen for the difference. And so it's kind of like the total opposite of that. So I'm really like deprogramming my own consciousness on it is safe to do that, despite the fact that I might get negative feedback. I might get people that don't understand. I might get judgment. I might get shut down. That is part of the human experience. And I guess it's just not allowing that to define whether or not I actually do it and whether or not I allow myself to be out there, that fear of that happening. And, in some places it's not delusion because I'm not delusional to think that there is going to be, it's all going to be smooth sailing and it's all going to be amazing. But I always go back to that vision I had anytime I've had a retreat come in, anytime I've had, a vision for something new that I need to go into, expand a workshop, whatever it is. It's like it comes to me with for a reason. And at the time it comes to me, it seems absolutely impossible and unachievable, unattainable, million miles away, and somehow on earth it happens every time. And it's the same thing. People around me will testify. It just works that way because it is truly the trust of knowing that, we are protected and it is safe right now. So if this new layer for you is stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit, maybe meeting new connections, putting yourself out there, making some emails, ringing some people up, seeing how you can translate your gifts into a human message. What does that look like? Is it poetry? Is it art? Is it music? Is it creations? Is it workshops? Is it spiritual work? What is it? Is it anything? Cooking, community events, working with children? There's so many things you could create from your own soul. It just needs to be something that lights you up inside. That's what I think is truly important.
Absolutely. Excitement.
Mm.
Being able to live
Mm.
excitement there. I think that that period is the most exciting to me because now I can feel the excitement and it's stabilizing more and more and I can easily take more action steps towards like what I want, whether that's the offerings or getting myself out there in a certain way or it just feels a lot I'm just excited about it. I don't have like the same parameters around it like I did before. Though of course they come up. Yes, I've had judgment. Yes, I've had things said about me. Like that's the natural part of the human process, especially when you're getting yourself out there. Somebody's bound
Yeah,
to say something. But where I feel like that's just such a great space for me to be at now is that like it doesn't affect me the same way, right?
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. It
hey,
doesn't define you. Yeah.
yep, yep,
Yeah. And limit you as well. And I felt like this, I had a little argument with someone and it did bother me for like 5 minutes. And I thought, sometimes that would actually fully affect my whole day. And it is about knowing that people have got their own shit, man, and doesn't need
for
to be
sure.
yours. Like you're allowed to go, hang on a minute, I don't really need that energy and I don't choose to allow it, I don't choose to embody it, I choose to let it go, whatever it's reflecting at that time. Maybe you don't need to unpick it in that moment. Maybe you can come back to it later on, sit with it when it comes up and actually work through what it might have meant if you need to. But sometimes it's also just about a boundary, an energetic boundary, like, hang on, this is not where we're going, we're not allowing this. And this is really important when it is about being seen
Yep.
because you're going to have pushback. You're going to have judgment. You're going to have people that know you and have a certain expectation of you and have a certain image of you in their mind. And if that breaks that mold, you're going to have reflections on that of what you're doing. Or who does she think she is? Or da, 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 da. I
Totally.
see many, many posts that say the people that know me are like dead silent when it comes to you posting all your like own business or stuff like that. And then the
Yeah.
people that don't know you all over the online world are just like cheering you on. And I thought it's actually a really good message because people who know you personally, I'm not saying that's your inner circle, I hope it's not. The people that might have known you from school, work, in your own local life, not everyone's going to want to see you in. And that's not because they're not nice people. It's maybe a reflection of their own insecurities, failures, fears, and it's projected onto you because she'll never succeed or again that who does she think she is kind of vibe because they would not dare to step into that energy. They would not dare. They're too afraid of it. There's not enough courage and fire in the soul to just take it anyways and just take the risk of the what if. There's always going to be the what if. But I guess the biggest take home point, because I am talking to myself here, by the way. I'm not
Yep.
preaching. I'm also talking to myself because I'm figuring this one out. And, I've taken little baby steps all the time along the way, taking risk. But I feel like now, I don't know, it just come to a point of, yeah, the awakening is truly coming, really, truly. And I do feel I've been a part of it in my own way, huge, but I don't want to look back in 30 years' time and think, why were I so scared to be seen?
Totally.
Why did I not write that book? Why did I not host them events? Why did I not dance in the rain that day, even if people were looking? You know, really it kind of sticks with me that the fear of having regret, I think is the thing for me. I'm like, so it makes me do shit I'm scared of more because I just don't want to have regrets. I'd rather take the risk and face the scary stuff that's going to come from it than think I never tried at all.
Oh,
Like that's a huge thing for me. So I kind of try and hold on to that energy even when it's really scary. Try and think, well, it's better that you didn't not do it. At least you tried, at least you give it a go, even if it's really scary. And some things I don't do again, and that goes for the
totally.
same in the spiritual world. So many things you can try and explore. And I feel like I've looked at quite a lot of them. And I definitely feel like I honed in and specialized in some. But there's some I just kind of opened the door on, looked at it and thought, yeah, I get that, but that's not for me. And that's also okay too. You don't have to like go into every single tiny detail. There's a reason that other people are specialists over there. You go find what lights you up inside. That'll be your specialist area. For me, I guess I figured mine is helping people transform and step into their power. It lights me up. It just makes me feel so alive watching people remember who they are. I just love it.
Absolutely. Yep, that's my
Love it.
favorite thing too. That's why
Mm.
I don't even call myself a coach, more like a transformational guide, right?
Mhm.
I
Yep.
want to see someone's highest power coming back into space and know that
Right.
they did it themselves, right? Empowerment is huge for me. I'm like, even if I'm like sitting with somebody and I'm not doing anything, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I just realized that I need to take this back,"
Mhm.
right? It's like the meat right there.
Fire moment. No, I love it. I totally agree. I used to do training, like one-to-one in person, 6-week training. And I remember them, I used to look back on it and think when they walked in, their eyes were like empty, like they were there, but so small. And when they walked out, their eyes were full with themselves. And that's just used to make me so happy in my heart, like watching people's power and self return back into their own body and being. And yeah, it's really beautiful. And I think that's why we really resonate, Dee, because it's great being a reader. It's great being a singer. It's great having all this knowledge about all these different things. It's wonderful. And I'm so grateful for it. And I really don't take it for granted. I had a realization on actually how much I hold in my human vessel this weekend. I was quite, had a little pat on the back moment for myself. Like, actually, yeah, you're doing
Yep,
all right. Oh, don't worry. Yeah, you're doing all right.
not too bad.
But I love all that and I'm very grateful for all that. But I guess, and there's so much more I could think of and channel into, but I don't know. I guess the one thing that really does awaken me deeply, deeply is like you say, that embodiment of reflection, of doing it themselves. That there is no, it doesn't feel progressive just giving someone one reading and then they're going to come back to me for the same information in a different delivery in 6 months' time. Like it just doesn't feel like it's making the difference. The same thing when I was a carer, I used to do home care nursing and some palliative care, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But one of the deepest things I felt is I felt like I was too late on in the journey to make a big difference. And I'm sure I made some of a difference. I'm not saying I did not, but I don't know, it just didn't feel satisfying to me personally on my mission, on my journey enough. I felt like I'm meant to be working with people when they have the choice to choose different and
Absolutely.
reflect on them things and make different choices in this lifetime. And
Yeah,
that really stuck with me. I was about 17, 18 when I was a carer. Did it for a couple of years and loved it again, like I said, but not my path. And that wasn't my path into like being a death doula and all that. But we met a lovely lady this weekend. She was fantastic. She knew so much knowledge. She was awesome. I think we're going to get her on the show next week if we can, so stay tuned for that. But she taught me the little lesson there of she's a specialist in her little subject, like not little, she's a specialist in her subject. And she was quite cute. I think that's how I said that. She was like really cute and lovely. But I think when I was looking at her, I was like, wow, she knows so much about what she's doing. She's so passionate in it. And I love that. And I thought, you know what? This is why we all have our own mission. This is why we all have our own little,
yep.
specialist puzzle piece, is because we can't all be doing the same thing. Can't all be carbon copies of each other doing the exact same thing. And even though me and you, honey, we have very similar work compared to this beautiful lady I met, it's still completely different in the way we do
So,
it,
so different.
And
Absolutely.
that's the thing. It might be the same inner standing, so we can resonate with the work that we do and we can share resonance of experiences and memories and kind of, oh yeah, I do that. Oh yeah. So it's like that resonance of recognition. But it's completely different in the ways that we translate and communicate. And you did some fantastic work on my nervous system. I was loving it. It was beautiful. It was really, really beautiful. And I actually felt physical tingling sensations, and we did it over Zoom, obviously. So that was really powerful to feel the physical aspect of it through a video call and feel your energy work in person, if you will. So that was really magical, and it just again reinforced that knowledge that we're all here to do something so uniquely magic. And it's, not about being jealous or in competition or fearful of you not doing enough. Like, step into your power, let yourself be seen. And once you do that, that love and acknowledgement for self will also reflect in others and you'll just want to see them win too. If you're ever experiencing that or someone's projecting that onto you, just stay in your power, stay in your truth.
Absolutely. And I just want to circle that as a golden nugget, because I'm also very much so a risk taker. But knowing that you're your own unique being, we might have similarities in work, but the way that you work is so much different than me, and it's so beautifully immersive. And anytime I'm around you and work with you, I get a different nugget of a perspective, right? Because we're all different perspectives. Um, and I would say really, really step into it. Like your success and your visibility and who you are as a being is immense and it's super powerful. And I get really excited about it because I'm like, yes to that. And yes to me too, because that also means that I'm capable of doing that, right?
Yes, exactly.
So
Exactly.
for anybody who's out there, because of course I've done this, where somebody's out there, I'm like, gosh dang it, I'm not as visible, right? All those cute little paradigms,
Yeah, I've had that. I've had that many times.
right? Um, and now it's just a cute little switch into like, hells yeah, girl, you get it because I know I can get it too, right? That's
Mhm,
it. There's plenty for everybody here. There's plenty of money for everybody here. All of it is really infinite, really. We can do whatever we want with it
mhm.
as long as we
Yeah.
step into our truth and continue to step into it.
100%.
Continue to take the risks in it, even if it is scary. Just trying it out. I mean, there's plenty of things that I
Mhm.
try because I'm such a little experimenter. I'm like, yes, I'm going to try that. Yes, nope, that is definitely not the
Yep,
case.
that's
Not going to
me.
work
That
for
is
me.
me.
But try it out. You never know until you fully try it in your power and go, oh, look, that's the route. That's not the route. And that's how you further find your truth in that, right? You further get to differentiate what works and what doesn't work, what actually makes you excited, what doesn't. what gives you energy and what doesn't, and how you get to then ride with that, how you get to embody it, how you get to like hold it in your nervous system and continue to work with it.
100%. Really beautiful what you said there as well. And it's important about the holding it into your nervous system because I've done a lot of work on being seen, and then I feel like embody it in a different energetic way, and then take like a little level up, and then I don't know, I feel like I revert back to that. Oh, but what if, especially when it comes to the whole of myself being seen. Like I'm okay, I'll control the narrative. I'll allow this part to be seen, and I'll allow this part to be seen, but not in my full exposure because that's too vulnerable. And so I guess it's that kind of okay, why is that coming up and what does that mean? And you really got to sit with them things. But some part of it for me really was the nervous system not feeling like it could hold that frequency because of the previous experience, because maybe of then another pushback or something that happened then recently, it would then tell me, oh yeah, see, told you it wasn't safe. There you go, shrink back down again so you're safe. It's like a reinforcement of protection, but in sometimes a self-sabotaging way, because again, as we've mentioned many times, the nervous system only knows how to keep you safe at all times, like the safest, most survival option at all times. And that's not always what's in its best interests for growth, awakening, expansion. Sometimes again, risks need taking, and it's learning and knowing how to override them feelings and thoughts that come up from the nervous system and learning how to work with that and sit with that. And Z is definitely a fantastic working with the nervous system. We're going to be bringing a lot of this work to our retreat, which I'm very excited about. Been spending a lot of time immersed in retreat, building plans. So I'm very much in that world at the moment. So yeah, I'm very much visually visualizing the experience and seeing it and calling in the right souls. And that's not a individual personal thing that genuinely just set a tone out to frequencies and whoever souls pick it up and the right people to come. So yeah, I'm really excited. I just think, like you were saying, the embodiment to take skills that we can actually use long term. It's going to be really good.
Absolutely. It's going to be completely transformational and fun too. We're going to have all the components in there. We're going to go deep.
Oh
We're going
yeah. There's never an event with us
to
where it's not super fun.
exactly. Stepping into wholeness, being able to connect. And now this is the connection that we were talking about with the ascension piece coming in because this is a new earth community connection too that we're bringing into place with that particular retreat. So that's
Yeah.
I want to say it's different in a way of how we connect as equals and how we work as equals, right? Without
Yeah.
components of jealousy or hierarchy or any of those fun things that are not fun that are not there.
100%. 100%. I think it's going to be really beautiful with the team that's come in. There's a very equal team. And I think that's why the team's been curated like it is, because there is no dynamic like that. A lot of the team, we know them, they're either friends, family, colleagues in that way. And it's like we all already have dynamics that don't involve that hierarchy. It's just meet us where we are, mutual respect and love. And so, yeah, I just think it's awesome. And there is going to be obviously flow to it and challenges and navigations that always come up in life and journeys, which I actually get quite excited for because I think, okay, this is where the growth happens. But yeah,
Yeah.
there is some really beautiful things to come. And truly I just see us all expanding so much and transforming into like again more whole version, coming back to self. Really truly just being that more ready to now to expand with the nervous system, with the mind, body, soul, spirit, quantum realms, all the different things in between. We will be doing kind of like a bit of everything. It is not one specific thing. It's not a yoga retreat. It's not a meditation retreat. It's not a silent retreat by any means. It's not a luxury, just a luxury retreat. It's all of them
It has all of that.
aspects. Yeah, it's got all of the different energies in there, but it brings the fun, it brings the childlike joy, it brings a lot of the reconnection, honesty, authenticity. We do ask you to show up as yourself, and that's it. That's really all we ask of you, show up as yourself and let's go.
Please, as yourself. With that
Let's
shirt on,
go.
because it's fantastic. I can't stop
Bye.
staring at your mushroom shirt. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing.
So cool, is it not? I'm so excited. I love it. My mum got me it for my birthday actually, and I've got about 5 comments on it today. I went on an Easter egg hunt with the kids, and people have been loving my mushroom vibe.
So amazing.
The vibes.
Uh,
The
anyways,
vibe.
as always, it's fantastic. As always, everybody, trust yourself in this. That's why we're here. Our perspective might not fit for you. It might. Always go internal and see what works for you, and also know too that you don't have to take everybody else's perspective. Trust yourself. right? And navigate in leadership as you are to yourself. And we want to hear more from you. So please hit subscribe, ask questions. Uh, yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
we
I'm
love
like, yeah, she's
that
saying
so
it all. She's doing it all. She on it.
much. All right.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.